right now something weird happened. I just got bitten by this tiny black and white mosquito. They say it's a killer and brings deadly disease. If this is my last video, you know why. So I never been to therapy. Actually, I was afraid because after I jumped out of window 15 years ago, I wanted to kill myself. I fallen from the 13th floor and survived. One doctor studied me, I think a psychologist, and he said that I'm mad and I need to be in a medical center. But I believe he was unqualified to do this because he did it just after my fall, like the next day, and I actually was out of my mind for sure, but not because I'm mad. But it doesn't matter. But I've been skeptical. Instead, I just read books about like psychology, how to help yourself, and it didn't really work really fast. It took me probably 2 months of reading because I couldn't walk anyway for about 2 months. And after my suicidal attempts, because my body was injured, and that time I spent reading some shitty books and then some smart books. Then I just decided that, the past is the past, and I live right now and I create the future. And so it's time to build something awesome if I didn't like my life before. And so I started to work on myself. I read some bullshit books that promise like quick results without much work, and because of it I became very arrogant. I thought that I can start a business and succeed, that I can do whatever and win just because I set up my mind right. But it doesn't work this way. It's all BS, all this nonsense, law of attraction. There is some truth in it, but only little. If you want to help yourself, you'd better go to therapy. Well, actually, I don't know if it's better or not, but you should give it a try anyway. But one thing I discovered for sure that works, it's hypnosis, especially self-hypnosis. But it's better probably to pay for a hypnotist to learn your situation and to make for you like hypno recording, because I struggled with food addiction for about my whole life. Yeah, like eating this shit just in order to understand how bad it was. There was a time when I just take like chocolates and like Snickers and all this stuff and just eat them like uncontrollably, like a lot, and then I would feel myself really thick, and I would go to a toilet and do like this, 2 fingers in the mouth, like bleh, and then I would promise myself not to do it again. Not to eat this food, and 30 minutes later it would go again. It was really probably stupid stuff. And then I listened to some recordings on YouTube, how to quit, from a hypnotist. Yeah, woman. And I actually fallen asleep at night, and I listened it for the whole night. And luckily, it worked. It really worked, because I just felt like it doesn't make any sense to eat this unhealthy food. I just have to eat food that has nutrients and that is useful for my body. I don't need taste. I don't need food for like emotional stuff. I just need food as a nutrition, as a source. And it worked. And I listen to this hypno session like still sometimes. It helps to maintain this belief, because otherwise I could fail for some fake food, But our story goes in another direction, and that direction is sometimes you can help yourself, sometimes not. If you cannot help yourself, ask for help. Seek medical interventions, because if you cannot help yourself, then you should ask somebody for help. And this is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength, because sometimes life is hard and it's probably not easy for anybody. So it went out of the script. So I just ask you, don't trust anybody who says it's easy, because right now there are lots of gurus online who teaches like BS, and they target vulnerable people who are in crisis, lost their jobs, wives, children, anything, and they feel like depressed probably, like vulnerable, and these fake gurus, they target them with their shit, like you just need to go to my seminar, blah blah blah, you just need to believe, and you just need to buy my program, buy my meditation. Well, meditation is free on YouTube. You can find lots of books with meditation. You don't need to pay thousands of dollars to feel yourself good. Just be aware. But they sell, these fake gurus, they sell hope like candy. I won't name them because my channel is not about exposing these people. There are other channels, but actually I lost one friend to fake promises. So the friend, he has like 3 children and he works in a factory, and actually it's pretty difficult. And he was looking for ways to, like, you know, seeing all these young people, rich people on Instagram and social media. And he fallen from one guy who promised to teach like super strategies to get rich with cryptocurrency. But that guy himself, he's teaching how to get rich with cryptocurrency for the last like 10 years. He's teaching how to get rich. He didn't get rich with crypto, he get rich with teaching how to get rich. I mean, the ultimate scheme. And so my friend wasted all his life savings, and he didn't realize he was scammed. He thought it's his, because he didn't succeed, it's his failure. But the truth is that the scheme was fake. The knowledge was... Some people believe in law of attraction, and I really knew a woman who would put her phone number and her photograph under the windshield of expensive cars, because she wanted to have a man with a rich man. The goal was, wrong, because she didn't think about the personality, the relationships that she want to build, just the money, because expensive car means money, yeah? Money is power, money is freedom, but in relationships, sometimes it's bad. Sometimes you got a control freak. And I used to believe in such stuff like law of attraction, writing your dreams, and I still write my dreams and goals, and I try to follow plan every day and follow my plan, but just believing in something doesn't change anything. Because if it would, then in Microsoft, in Apple, in like Google, there would be departments of people who just sit there and they do only one thing, just thinking. Like, because thinking, there are such people. They are thinking and planning, and then thinking how to execute. But it is not just thinking. Thinking is like the first step, and then you need to execute on your goals. You need to work hard. And actually, I think I was the most successful in my life. I was when I worked really hard on my goals. Financially. Yeah, I remember I would just wake up at 5 o'clock and work till like night. And I actually started to make probably about $1,000 per day with affiliate marketing. And that time I felt very lucky, and I woke up and my ad account was rejected, my payment was on hold, and I felt that everything crashed. I worked on this for just 3 months or so. It's nothing, 3 months. And it all failed. And I've been really depressed. I was driving my car and thinking that I need to finish it, because I was too connected to money. Before I studied philosophy, history, read biographies of great people, but then I failed for money. And I really wanted to end my life, the second time, just because I was too focused on making money, and I believe that I'm money. If I don't make money, life is bad. But I'm telling you that I've been unemployed for the last 3 years, and it was the best time in my life. So money is BS. You don't need money to be happy or to be depressed or undepressed. You can be depressed with money, without money, with car or without a car. And the girlfriend I've been alone and depressed, and I thought that I need a wife to be not depressed, but it doesn't work this way. You can be depressed, married, unmarried, alone, with friends. But it's just a sign that it's something wrong with your life, and you need to change something. And you can change. Actually, you are the master of your fate, and you have the power and the capacity to change. Of course, you need to believe. You have to have a plan and work on it every day. If you just believe, well, it doesn't change anything. Otherwise, if you go to driving school, there would be only like believe you are a good driver, and that's all. Because there is a reason why we in a driving school, for example, we get the theory and then the practice, and then you can drive a car if you pass the test. If law of attraction would work, you would go to driving school and you would just study like belief, the right mindset for the driver. So actually, what is the strategy? If you found yourself in a place when you are not happy and you are a little depressed and you're feeling down, and maybe you don't know why, let me give you some clues. Fix your food, eat enough protein, enough healthy food, make a test for vitamins. Maybe you need to take some supplements in order to feel better. Fix your sleep, don't use your phone 2 hours before bed. And the funny thing is that it's going to fix most of you, because we live in a world where people are addicted to these devices, their phones. But you just need to give up on them at least 2-3 hours before bed and use this to fuel your mind for success. I was impressed by this study. They studied soldiers, and the soldiers who would sleep like 8 hours per night would like have shoot rate like 90% success. If they would sleep 5 hours per night, they would have 30% success rate. It means like if you undersleep, then you are just damaging your whole life, because if your brain doesn't work, then your whole life is a mess. And so the fix is that you need to fix your sleep, your food. Maybe there are some depressed people around you. If people are depressed around you, just try to help them, send them to therapists. Yeah, because if you try to help depressed people, it's actually hard if they don't want to help themselves. But do your best. And I actually believe that the best thing you can do is to avoid these people, the negative ones, the depressed ones. But the actual stuff is that you shouldn't, because if you ignore the negative, it doesn't fix it. Some people just negative, but some people just point important stuff that people with BS in mind trying to ignore. You know, the boat that went into the ocean while there was a storm, because the captain, he was a very positive guy. Well, nobody saw it again. I mean, just remember, it's temporary, it's going to pass. Someday you feel inspired, another day you feel down, but you need to think in terms of systems. I mean, how do you exercise? What kind of food do you eat? What kind of people you communicate? I mean, where are you going in life? The past is gone, and now you create your future. It doesn't matter how old you are. With your daily actions, you create your future. And if you don't rule your life, I mean, if you don't own your direction, somebody else does. And unfortunately, the world is pointing you in the wrong direction. If you go to store, like most of the food is junk food and bad food, and if you eat this, the taste and nice is going to influence you in a bad way. And so you need to use your mind and critical thinking. If you try to fix your problems with YouTube, I think you'll find a lot of gurus who are going to fix your problems with a low ticket offer for $7, and then they're gonna upsell you and they'll indoctrinate you and then make you a part of a cult, and you will discover after many years that you have more problems right now. But If you just feel in that this video was useful for you, hit the subscribe button and I'll see you in the next one.